Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing marvelously well. It is 11:20 here, 11:20 a.m. in sunny Los Angeles, and it is actually sunny. It's sunny, and I know that sounds like, Warren, it's always sunny. Well, actually, it hasn't been. It's been raining cats and dogs, as it were, which is rather wonderful, to be quite frank, that we have been having some rain, because we've had so much time over the last few years where it hasn't been raining consistently, but this last year or so, it's been tipping down. So God bless it. How are you all? Are you all doing marvelously well? Hey, Karen, lovely to see you. Hello, David. Hello, Tom. Hello, Mary and Sam. Hey, Jens. Hey, Ken. Hey, Idaho Turtle. It's all rather lovely. So for those of you that are not Produce Like a Pro Academy members, just to explain what we're doing here. What we are is we are doing our Feedback Friday live. We do this every single Friday, and we have guests on as well. Manny's done it, Joe Carell's done it, Mark Daniel Nelson's done it, and these wonderful people, they listen to mixes by Academy members. Now, sometimes it's multi-tracks that I've supplied and we put inside the Academy. Sometimes it's multi-tracks that go up on the channel. So if you've been downloading multi-tracks and mixing them, we can do that. And other times it is guests. It's actual users' productions, mixes, songs they've written, their own material, whether they've done it with external artists or whether they're doing it with their own stuff. So it's quite exciting, to say the least. This one looks like a nice combination of multi-tracks from the Academy. From Produce Like a Pro Academy. So we're going to go through those and listen to those. As you can see, the window is open. Woo-hoo-hoo. Our good friend, Mr. Cameron Webb, has been in the studio this week and will be in for another 2 weeks producing a rather amazing band that I don't know if I can say the name of. I don't think it's fair, but they're a very successful band, and he's been hiring the studio out. So that's rather amazing. So, woohoo! Go Cameron, and go Eric, and go Produce Like a Pro Academy. Eric, let's flick over and see what we got. Who do we have first? Oh, and by the way, Sam did send an email to all of you. We are doing a $99 one-year membership special just for today. So if you're not a member yet, or you want to add an extra year, this is the perfect time to doing it, because we did a special deal. All right, this is what we do every week. Let's check it out. First up is Phil Burns, and Phil says, my mix of Elena Blair's wonderful Love It or Leave It. It was a joy to mix that song. I went for a shiny, polished sound. Any comments are highly appreciated. Now, this song is a song I wrote and recorded here. It's with my good friend Leanna James McCullum, who is incredibly talented, and then Elena Blair covered it. It's a kind of bluesy country song. Definitely bluesy. Check it out.
I've been waiting around for too damn long, watching you chase your tail. It's the same old story, getting boring, and this love is getting stale. You say what you want, say what you need, well, you keep looking for more. It's getting about that time where I say goodbye, kick your ass right out the door. 'Cause your lips are talking, but your feet don't do no walking. Well, I just don't think you understand. I'm sick of your maybes, baby. You think I'm gonna keep waiting? Why can't you just be a man? Whoa, you can love it, leave it, you better believe it. Had enough of your games and I don't need this. Not the only man left in this town. Whoa, you can love it, leave it, can't get between it. Yeah, I said it, hell yeah, I mean it. You're crazy if you think I'm sticking around. Whoa, love it or leave it, the last you'll see of me. Love it or leave it, baby, I ain't losing sleep. She's a pretty little thing that loves her mama, but you met her at the candy store. And I saw you checking out her legs as she walked through the door. And I watched and I watched and I let you go as I played you like a toy. 'Cause I know you're nothing but a good for nothing lazy little mama's boy. 'Cause your lips are talking, but your feet don't do no walking. sleep. Love it or leave it, the last you'll see of me. Love it or leave it, baby, I ain't losing sleep. So you can love it or leave it, you better believe it. Had enough of your games and I don't need this. You're not the only man left in this town. Whoa, you can love it or leave it, can't be in between it. Yeah, I said it, hell yeah, I mean it. You're crazy if you think I'm sticking around. Love it or leave it, you better believe it. Had enough of your games and I don't need this. You're not the only man left in this town. Whoa, you can love it or leave it, can't be in between it. Yeah, I said it, hell yeah, I mean it. Crazy if you think I'm sticking around. Whoa, love it or leave it, the last you'll see of me. Love it or leave it, baby, I ain't losing sleep. Love it or leave it, the last you'll see of me. Love it or leave it, baby, I ain't losing sleep.
Pretty amazing. I'm on the whole a really, really great mix. The things I would do differently for me, I think Karen was commenting on it. I read a couple of comments. It's definitely bright. It's a bright mix. There's an emphasis, particularly on the snare, of a kind of pss, 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 a lot of bottom snare, a lot of. It's just bright. It's like a 7K and above kind of high end on the snare, which helps it cut through. And I understand, when you're mixing, you're sitting there kind of balancing something, bringing up some high mids on an instrument, and then you have to do the same on something else. And you kind of get yourself into a little bit of trouble because you're consistently brightening things. And I feel like that's what's happening here. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure many of you are listening to this and thinking, wow, you wish you could mix that well, because it's still a really good mix. It's just... it lacks some of the impact on the snare, with there being a lot of it being about the bottom snare and a lot of that kind of brightness. I would like to hear some more ring, some more aggression in the snare. So, just a little bit more gong, gong, a bit more aggression there would really, really help. I also think that would help make it cut so you weren't relying on the 7K and above to help the snare cut through. There's obviously a lot of 3K in there as well with the bottom snare, you're hearing that so incredibly loud. So for me, I want to hear a more aggressive snare. I also want to hear a little bit more lows on the kick. One of the things we like to do is go and grab, this is for those of you who want to listen to mixes in your own, grab something like a multiband compressor. Here I'm grabbing a C4. You can use whatever you like. And then I take the low end and bring it down. It's pretty good on the lows. But you can see the bass is sitting in there quite a lot. So I would essentially go up to the bass guitar and just high pass it a little bit more aggressively, about 60. Now, I'm not saying don't let any 60 hertz go through on the bass. Of course, have some like 60, 70 in there. You want that. But on a song like this, it needs to sort of start rolling off gently and let it dominate in the kick drum. You see when it hits that first bass note, even if you're not in a system or a pair of headphones where you're hearing that lows, there's a lot of low end on that bass. So that low note is just a little bit too aggressive. So let's get in there and just tame the lows on the bass so they're a little bit more consistent more than anything else. So it's not just one note blowing up. And then that will let the kick drum breathe a little bit more. So let's listen from the point where I'm at here.
'Cause your lips are talking, but your feet don't do no walking. Well, I just don't think you understand. I'm sick of your mate.
Also the lead stuff at the end. It's just a little, I suppose overall, if I was to have like a 5-second summation of it, it's all just a little light, just a little tiny bit bright. So to solve that, I think we need aggression on the snare. I would add like a little 700 to 1K on the electric lead part. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But you hear the snare there. It's all pss, pss, There's no doing. There's no like real super aggression. Oh yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Are you wearing any green, Eric?
I totally forgot about that.
He's not wearing any green. He's looking around frantically for some green. Oh, the Lewitt pin. We're going to wear our Lewitt pins because it's got green in it. It's me on some of the guitar and Phil. I think we split it up. Ken says he's wearing a tie-dye shirt with a lot of green on it. Good. And Tim says in his Abbey Road t-shirt he's wearing green. Yeah, for me, the snare is one of the main things. I think with it just being built around the pss, pss, psh, just leads my ear into there. It's a dominant thing. Snare drums are dominant in mixes. You know, you've got, in most mixes, we're talking about kick drums, bass guitars, snare drums, vocals. Guitars obviously are important, don't get me wrong, but it's amazing how quickly things fall into place when you've got your center done really, really well. If you can get your center working with your kick, your snare, your bass guitar, and your lead vocal in place. Once those all start working, guitars start to become a little bit more, they can be incredibly important and supportive in choruses and the big and stuff, but artsy little parts suddenly become, you know, they make sense because the rest of the song is supported. So getting that done really well, getting that bass guitar to just be controlled so it doesn't have notes that are just booming all over the place and then not even enough at the rest of the time is number one thing for me. Then getting that snare to be aggressive so it doesn't need to be so high-endy to be present, because the moment it feels like it's only really the high end that's carrying it. Once we get those things dealt with, I think you'll be in a really, really good position. Great. Well, fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. And to be honest, these things are very, very easy to fix and can really, really bring this mix into a new level. I really enjoyed the vocals. I mean, that's... She's a pretty little thing that loves her mama, but it gets a little, but only slightly. I mean, it's pretty tasty. I hear a lot of songs on the radio that have a lot less high-end issues in it than this vocal does. Always, you know, if you can afford it, the OX Sound Soothe 2 is definitely a great thing to put on the end of your chain. And I watched and I let you go as I played you like a toy, 'cause I know you're nothing but a good for nothing. It's interesting, that snare is not a bad snare. It's not a bad snare sound that you've created. I just think in this instance, the song needs to be a little bit more rocking and a little bit more aggressive and a little less about that 7K area. All right, next up is Russell. I think Russell's here. I saw him earlier. So Russell Cameron Thomas says, Warren and Plappers, here's a funk cover of Thriller based on Steve Majora's vocal multitracks, produces a virtual live performance. It's a collaboration with G Doggy, John Graff, Sam Geyer, and me, and of course Steve's great vocal performance. In a way, a love letter to the Plapper community because the groove is based on audio loops from GarageBand that I used in my first ever Plapper submission. So this, for those of you that aren't Academy members, you know, it is called Produce Like a Pro, and there's a lot of conversation on mixing like there was before. But here you can tell this has got a lot to do with production. We really are here to help people grow their production. And Russell's a great producer, and this is going to be the production that he's done with two other people, and of course using Steve's original multitracks. So the song is the final mixing stages, some mastering applied. Be happy to get some feedback on anything. Thanks so much for Ray, Chris Coral, Keith Mitchell, Carl, Bjorn, Kitty, Lisa, Dale, Rotan, Jason, and others. All lots of wonderful Academy members helping each other out. If you're not already a member, join us in the Academy. All right, Ray Mears got in and helped. So did Bert. So did Tom C. And that is another beautiful thing about the Academy. Everybody gets in and helps each other out. So let's check out Russell's production on Thriller.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steve Majora and the Grand Avenue Zombies.
What's up, everybody? Woo!
Lurking in the dark under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes a sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed. About to strike, you know it's you're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller you hear the door slam and realize there's nowhere left to run. You close your eyes and hope that this is just imagination, girl. But all the while, you hear a creature creeping up behind, and you're out of time. There ain't no second chance against the thing with the 40 eyes, girl. Calling the dead start to walk in their masquerade.
absolutely marvelous. Well, first of all, Russell, amazing work. Really, really amazing. For those of you that know the original demo demo was done entirely with voice, drums, percussion, all of the guitar sounds, all of the keyboards, everything was done using Steve using his voice, and then he manipulated, but everything was done with the vocals. I really enjoy this. It was really, really fantastic. The horns make it really, I don't know, they take it to a different place, which I enjoy a lot. I don't really have any criticism of this. The first thing I'd like to say is, like, please, Russell, within the community, share these multi-tracks. If you could share the multi-tracks. So those of you who aren't Produce Like a Pro Academy members, this is often what we do, is we have hundreds of multi-tracks in there because we have all the multi-tracks that we've supplied through the channel, through each month adding new stuff in there. But also people have brought in their own multi-tracks, and then when they do their own overdubs to pre-existing stuff, we have that available as well. Or in this instance with Russell, this is a completely new production built around Steve's live vocal. So for me, the live vocal could be just a little bit more aggressively bright, just to come out ever so slightly more. That would be the main thing for me. A couple people said it gets a bit crowded. I think it does. But at the same time, it's all part of this kind of very... And this is a good, I don't mind using this word, sort of overblown production in a way that's not bad, because it's an 80s song. I mean, we were cramming in the 80s so many ideas into it. I enjoy this. I enjoy this horn-centered, like those tom parts when they came in, they were big and they were bombastic and they were fantastic. I loved it. Absolutely love it. Cletus is saying that it's probably the amount of reverb on that's making it feel crowded. Yeah, possibly. You know, obviously that can be like that. Delays and reverb, when used a lot, especially lots of different ones, can get that way. It can start to feel like that. I feel like delays and reverbs I love used incrementally can really make something quite unique, especially when working with a mono instrument and supporting underneath, or to make things wider, panning opposite. I love all of these things. Personally, I think it's a pretty fantastic production. It's incredibly good. Please, 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 Russell, share that with the community. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear people's mixes. From a mix perspective, yes, I would just try to get that vocal to just sit a little tiny bit more forward, which is probably a little bit more aggression in the high mids just to make it sit forward. That's about it. Russell says he's happy to share it. So if you're an Academy member, you can get the multi-tracks. He's going to let people do it. And yeah, Chris says difficult to cram all that stuff into a mix for sure. I agree. But I think he did a very admirable job. And I think if, you know, for those of you that are Academy members, you can get these multi-tracks and do it. But wonderful, wonderful production. Again, as I always say, it's called Produce Like a Pro for a reason. We do have an emphasis on production as well as mixing. It's not just about this idea that the mix will rescue everybody's production. It is definitely a combination of both. Great work, Russell. Really fantastic. Thank you ever so much for doing that. And thank you everybody that did it with him. Really superb stuff. Okay, next up was Hervig, who said, this is my mix of Avalon. It was really fun to mix this great song. I tried to automate a lot to get a good dynamic. I hope you like it and appreciate any feedback. And it looks like Mirko got in and helped. So did Sean. Thank you, everybody that gets in and helps each other out. That's one of the things about our community, is it's all about being supportive of each other. Here we go. Fantastic. Yeah, pretty darn good to say the least. It's interesting. For those of you that don't remember the original, or at least you remember it, but you haven't heard it in a while, the drums get dwarfed by the guitars in that. There was definitely a time in the mid-90s where grunge was still very, very prevalent. And remember, the verses were like, dong, ding, dong, dong. The chorus would come in like, raw, like absolutely massive, massive guitars that even spilled into pop music. So Kelly Clarkson with, Since You've Been Gone, it was like, "Crah," and then the verse was like, pop, pop, pop. So you had it in all genres. It was basically the birth of like Nirvana in, 92, even though the album came out at the end of 91, but 92, when Nevermind exploded across the world, all the production became about that. The production became about really quiet voice verses with absolutely massive choruses. And if you go back to the original mix of Avalon, which was done by Chris, who's a wonderful, wonderful mixer, it's not Crystal Algae, but the drums get dwarfed. They get dwarfed inside of it because of the hugeness of the guitars. But what's interesting is the drums, because we were talking to Brad about this. When he recorded the drums, Brad recorded them he did them in Grandmaster, but he did them in the parking lot, the car park inside of there, which basically is a big empty concrete room that just sounds absolutely massive. So there's a tendency, once the guitars get in there, the drums start getting dwarfed, all the energy from the guitars. I think Hervig did a pretty good job of keeping the drums sounding aggressive. Have a quick listen again. It's pretty tasty. I mean, it's pretty convincing. It's a pretty convincing 90s rock mix. John says, if everything is loud, nothing is loud. Exactly. Now, if you listen to the, Colin, I think if you listen to the drums on this, they're pretty massive, the original drums. We do have the video for it. Could you put up the video for Avalon? Didn't we do a breakdown on it with Brad? I'm sure we did. I'm pretty sure we did. You can watch it again. I could be wrong. I'm frequently am, but yeah, watch the Avalon breakdown. Absolutely, the Pixies used to do a lot of that. Yes, it was a very prevalent kind of late 80s kind of American indie thing to do these big kind of noisy, choruses and smaller verses, totally. But obviously Nirvana took it to a whole new level with wall of guitar. Yeah, again, with the original, the vocals are quite quiet. And I suppose one thing that we can say is that the original single was a big hit, but then the acoustic version that I believe they did for K-Rock Acoustic Christmas, is that correct, was even bigger. It became absolutely massive because when you've written a great song, like Dave Grohl wrote an incredible song, when you write Avalon and people get to hear it in its broken down purest form, it's pretty amazing, just a vocal and acoustic. I do think having the vocals on the edge is very rock. You can go pop. We can have the vocals sit very much out front, but then what happens is you don't quite get the angst. Part of the angst is the fighting between the guitars and the vocals. I might lean on just a bit more aggression in the snare, just a bit. I mean, it sounds really au naturel. I mean, the drum sounds are pretty darn good. You've done a really good job, Hervig, of maintaining integrity. I don't hear like a sample going da 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 da. If you listen to this build. I mean, that sounds like a real rock band. Bearing in mind, I mean, this is Ed, and we recorded these drums with the entry-level Lewitt drum pack, so completely affordable drum pack, and we did throw in a couple of samples on the mix that I did. This doesn't feel like Hervig is leaning much on samples. It's pretty tasty when you consider that this recording probably mutually cost us like $2,000 to do in everybody's time all over the place, compared with, you know, going into a major label, you know, with a major label budget. It's pretty amazing. Probably more like 200, but yeah, dollars. The bass is a little kind of boomy here and there. Let's have a listen. The separation's good, though. The separation's good. I don't hear I mean, it's mainly kick that's getting that low lows. It's pretty tasty. I don't mind that little. Occasionally, it's okay if the low end gets a little tiny bit out of control, because that is rock and roll. We also have to be careful, especially as this is a mid-90s style track, mid-late 90s. It's not that heavily processed dynamic EQ multiband compressor. They didn't have Soothe 2 available when they were mixing this. You know, I think keeping it just a little bit wrong is okay. Even though there's a little bit of a boominess, there's a note that goes out of control on the bass. What we would have done in ye olden days is we didn't put a multiband or a dynamic EQ in it, just turn it down. Just literally, you'll just see the fader on the SSL come down, duck when the bass gets a little loud. As simple as that. Maybe the tiniest bit more automation. For me, it's pretty darn good mix. Maybe a little tiny bit of automation on the bass where a couple of, couple of notes get a little bit out of control, just a tiny bit. And then the other thing probably is just to find 5% more ring on the snare. Find out where the is and just bring it up just a little tiny bit. That's really all I would ask. Then I think it's about splitting hairs about whether we believe that the vocal should be a little bit louder. It's possible it could be. You could come up ever so slightly. Wonderful, wonderful mix. Very, very good work. Thank you ever so much. All right, Mark is up next. Mark says, hello, moin, dear Academy. I mixed this song from Mark Daniel Nelson's class, Mixing Heavy Rock. The song is called Sunny Days, and I think it's a really cool song. I'd be interested in your opinion on my mix, and would be happy to receive any feedback. And it looks like Hervig got in and helped, which is wonderful, because we just heard that Hervig is a great mixer. All right, here we go. Sunny Days.
Well, if you try to love her like I
Damn, I said, love don't need to be psychotic. Picking up the pieces with you. We can go and spend the sunny days on the roof. Mellow out our heads and we're down. For anything we're singing, we don't need an excuse. Picking up the pieces with you. For anything we're singing, we don't need an excuse. Picking up the pieces with you. For anything we're singing, we don't need an excuse.
I was expecting an AC/DC ending. Down, 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 2, 3, 4. Ah, da, da, da. You know what I mean? And I looked over and saw the file and it was fading. I was like, oh. Because they had that. Down, 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 ah, da, da, da. That was me. That's what I would do. But we're not talking about production here. Pretty fantastic mix. Two things for me are, I would introduce, for me it needs an introduction of a little bit more dynamics. When the choruses come in, the guitars are pretty linear. I want the guitars to get just a little bit louder. Obviously, then what's going to happen is those backgrounds are going to have to come up for a little bit. So you should bring the guitars up in the choruses about a dB or so, and bring the backgrounds up a dB. I don't think that will smother the snare or the vocal too much. I just think it will just sound a little bit more exciting. The kick drum is good. It's good, but it's a little 80, 100 hertz thuddy. I want to hear a little bit more lows and clickiness on it, a little bit more aggressive rock kick. It's a little polite for me. It's not bad at all, but it's just a little bit polite. The snare's great. It's a bit boo, 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 boo. It's just kind of thick. I want to hear gore. I want to hear lows and attack.
Picking up the pieces with you. We can go and spend the sunny days on the roof. Mellow out our heads and we're down. For anything we're singing, we don't need an excuse. Picking up the pieces.
The snare's definitely hot, like everybody's saying, but I think when the guitars come up in the choruses and the backgrounds come up a little bit, it's going to sink in there a little bit. If it still feels like it's, excuse me, a little bit up, it can maybe duck down about half a dB. But in general, I think it's room for us to get the rest of it, the rest of it just a little bit more powerful. I want to hear a bit more dynamics in those sections.
Picking up the pieces with you. We can go and spend the sunny days on the roof.
Yeah, so the kick feels a bit like a broad lift, which is bringing up yeah, I think the kick in general should be cutting a little bit in that 80 to 100 area to let the bass bloom in there, and then just a little bit more in the 40 to 60 area. Emphasis on the 60, but not bringing up too much of the 80 to 100 as a result of bringing that up. But more aggression, a bit more snap to it.
Picking up the pieces with you.
I mean, it's there. I hear the tick, tick, but I don't hear it all the time. There I heard it on like 3 or 4 hits, and then it disappeared, then it came back. I mean, it's just the high mids of the attack on the kick are fighting the high mids of other instruments.
Picking up the pieces with you. We can go and spend the sunny days on the roof. Mellow
I think more room, like in that gah, gah, that would have been nice to have a bit more verb. The straighter. The vocals could come up there for the gang vocal. I think a lot of it outside of the EQ on the kick drum is more about doing some automation, getting in there, creating excitement, bringing up guitars and backgrounds and choruses, adding more verb on that snare, that ka, ka. So it's more like dramatic and exciting. I think beyond the EQ on the kick drum, a lot of it is more about automation, getting the excitement up in there. Great work. I mean, really, as much as I'm saying that, it's pretty darn close. All right, here's Chelsea Burt Khan or Can, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so I apologize, who says, here's another one I heard on the Working Audio Tools podcast. Great tune. Can't believe I missed it before in the multitracks. I went for more of an Offspring pop-punk vibe. I threw in a bit of ear candy, but it seemed genre appropriate for the more studio-orientated pop-punk bands, the more stripped-down ones. Love to hear what you think. Looks like John Sammers. Hey, John, how are you? Got involved. Always good to see you in there. Let's check it out. Hey, Chelsea.
To me, we'll trust that it won't break. Anticipate apologies, happiness not guaranteed. Trying to make peace with my past, but it's my enemy. Refuse to speak with me, can't look in my eyes. When you see someone staring back that you don't recognize, hands cover my face, I feel so out of place. But you're still by my side to catch me when I fall from grace. Hey, Chelsea.
Pretty tasty. I think for me, so for those of you who don't remember, this was a mixing competition song. And we had a lot of entries. And the thing about Produce Like a Pro Academy is like anything that we're involved in, you can mix, we can critique and everything. So I absolutely love this song. It was always a fun one. It's very, for those of you who don't remember, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, that this is actually... the bass line is programmed. I think it's a programmed bass line with a programmed drum kit, live guitars, but maybe not even real amps, maybe virtual amps and vocals. So it's always a challenge to take something which is quite heavily processed and make it feel a little bit more exciting, you know? And that on the guitars is in the original guitars. That for me is just a little bit too much. The sort of super mid-range guitars, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, we did a video recently on Ozzy, you know, with Randy Rhoads guitar playing. A lot of people will say the same thing, that they all consider Randy Rhoads one of the greatest rock guitar players of all time. But it's just such a shame that the stuff that he did with Ozzy is so processed sounding and so middly sounding, because that was what was de rigueur. That was what was really popular in the very, very late 70s and early 80s. Oh, there's already programmed vocals, my friend. That's a whole other discussion. Oh, yeah, Fluff is an amazing guitar player. He's great. He's one of the best rhythm guitar players out there. Super solid. Adam Steele, our good friend, says Dan Weller talks a lot about cleaning up guitars in his Kohler Audio cult. If you're not already a member of the Kohler Audio cult, join it. It's absolutely amazing what Christian is doing over there. Incredible. It's just killing it in metal production and metal mixing. And Adam is over there helping out as well. Great team of people. And Dan Weller's stupidly talented. Now, I get it, because, you know, with the mid-range, it's easier when you control the highs and the lows to have other guitars coming in. I think for me, Bert, I would just relax it a bit. I like what you're doing. I get it. It's very smart to be able to control the top and bottom of stuff. But maybe there's just a halfway point where it's not as open as it originally was, and it's not as narrow as you've made it. Just somewhere in between, I think, would make me happier. I believe all the guitars are double tracked, Danny. I'd have to look at the multi-tracks, but as far as I know.
Past, but it's my enemy. Refuse to speak with me, can't look in my eyes. When you see someone staring back that you don't recognize, hands cover my face, I feel so out of place. But you're still by my side to catch me when I fall from grace. Hey, Chelsea, whoa, I'm not always gonna be.
So, I think that's, for me, is the biggest thing. If we can get those guitars to be a little bit more natural sounding, you know, it doesn't have to be Avalon amp, doesn't have to be virtual. If you've got DIs, you can do whatever you like. The gang vocals are good.
Hey, Chelsea, whoa, I'm not always gonna be.
Yeah, the bass is definitely dominating the guitars, but I don't think it's so much as much to do with the EQ on the bass as the lack of EQ on the guitars.
Chelsea, I'm not always gonna be.
The bass could come down about a dB, guitars could come up, guitars need more low lows and a little bit more high highs, and I think we're solving a lot of the problems.
Chelsea, I'm not always gonna be.
Hey Capsicum Kid, hello there.
Chelsea, I'm not always gonna be. All that you expect from me, whether I rise or fall, you'll be with me through it all. Hey Chelsea, hey Chelsea. Here I am again, I always get it wrong. Sometimes I wonder how we ever made it this long. All the hurt I've ever caused, you can't help but remember. But I can't help myself. Sometimes I lose my temper. Hey Chelsea. Whoa.
So what happens there? You got that and then the chorus comes in and there's no like roaring rip your head off. You know, it needs automation, it needs those guitars. You could control the guitars in the verse and remove the top and bottom like you've done, but maybe open it up for the choruses. That could be a really good trick.
Here I am again, I always get it wrong. Sometimes I wonder how we ever made it this long. All the hurt I've ever caused, you can't help but remember. But I can't help myself. Sometimes I lose my temper. Hey Chelsea. Whoa.
See, that's just too polite. It should be, hey Chelsea! We need a lift. It's almost a little anticlimactic.
I lose my temper. Hey Chelsea. Whoa. I'm not always gonna be. Whoa.
Yeah, that's where I need those guitars to open up. So more volume, more fullness on the guitars, and just push those choruses a little bit more. Wonderful work, Bert. Thank you, everybody. That is the mixing competition that we did at Rate My Mix. You can, the multi-tracks are inside of the Academy, and you can mix it, and of course, we'll mix critique it like we just did. Next up is Kyle. Hey, Kyle. Kyle says, current mix feedback always welcome. Oh, this one's from 2 days ago, so that explains why there's no comments yet. In the meantime, we're going to give away a year's membership to the Academy. If you're not already an Academy member, now is the perfect time to join, because we're doing a $99 deal for today and today only. So click the link down below. If you're already a member, you can extend it at that price. If you want to become a lifetime member, I will open it up just for today to Academy members. Just write to us and we'll figure that out. We don't we only do that twice a year, but we're going to do it just for today. So if you're not an Academy member, please join us. As you can see, it's a wonderful, wonderful community of people that are helping each other out. Smash the like button, as Tim says. What do we want to know? This is to win a free membership, 1-year membership of the Academy. If you're already a member, you get an additional member. If you're a lifetime membership, you can get any ProMix Academy course that you want. And what do we want to know, Eric?
Favorite vegetable?
Okay. I'm going to go there. Eric's idea. What is your favorite vegetable? What is your favorite vegetable? Yes, we don't want to take ourselves too seriously here. What is your favorite vegetable? And in the meantime, let's listen to Kyle. Favorite vegetable? I don't know what Eric's is, so yeah. Okay, here we go. Easy, coffee.
Can't forget our past love. Can't live regretting it all. Our mistakes weren't worth making. I couldn't help myself in love. I've been bound to fall. It's the darkness that hurts the most. It's the lonely that chills my bones, and it's the scars that hide the truth. But it's my heart that makes me run right back to you. You were one I should have never let go. A memory of you, that's all I know. Turn your back on loving now, tearing up my heart into pieces until the ground you let them fall. It's the darkness that hurts the most, and it's the lonely that chills my bones. It's the scars that hide the truth. But it's my heart that makes me run right back to I know it's wrong to want you after all you've put me through. It's the darkness that hurts the most, and it's the lonely that chills my bones. It's the scars that hide the truth. But it's my heart that makes me run right back to you.
As lots of people are saying, automation would really help. Although I do think that obviously one of the things about the production is there's a lot of dynamics built in, which is good. The couple of people saying Sue too on the vocals. I do think that there are moments it gets a little. She was very much like that, and wonderful, wonderful singer. But I think when I mixed this originally, I ended up putting like 2 or 3 instances of de-essing on it because I mixed it through a console, and there was no Soothe 2 in those days.
You were one I should have never let go.
So the kick just needs a bit more of a thump, like a classic 60s, 70s thumpiness to it. Doesn't have to have a definition. You don't need a snappy click, snappy click on the kick. We don't need that. We just need a kind of a boom, 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 boom. Have you chosen anybody yet?
Christian Troncoso.
And what was his answer?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. Broccoli's a good one.
It is.
Broccoli's a good one. I think we'll do one more. And the one more, when we do it, will be like, what do you think my favourite vegetable is? And you've got to guess what you think Warren's favourite vegetable is. And then I'll sneakily tell Eric, and then he'll have to find the person that answered. So it's going to make his life not much fun. Yeah. We'll do that in a minute, okay? Thank you. I'm glad you think it sounds like a James Bond movie song. That's what we were going for when we wrote it. Okay, so number one thing with this is I'm not giving you any answers yet. That's easy. It's Eric. Eric's my favorite vegetable. I don't know if Eric's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Warren is British, so cabbage. Chris will know. Now everybody's going to guess whatever he guesses, which could be completely wrong. Don't guess yet. Okay, so a bit more thump on the kick. I feel like the snare on this mix should be just a little duller, a little less kind of, just a bit fuller, more body, a bit more modern, kind of fat sounding, a little less kind of roomy. The kick a bit more thumpy. The de-essing on the vocals, but the number one thing for me, Kyle, is bring that shaker down. It's so loud. Did anybody mention that? I was waiting for it. The shaker is like literally the loudest thing in my left ear. It's like, do we want a song with our shaker? I am a huge Asian cuisine fan. When we were in London, we went to 1947 for 3 nights. We went 2 nights in a row, and then we went back there. 1947 is a gourmet Indian restaurant. It is absolutely amazing. If you're in London, it's in the Fitzrovia district, which is that kind of really weird random area of Westminster and Camden Town where they kind of cross. It's called Fitzrovia. The restaurant is called 1947. It's an Indian restaurant. It is unbelievably good. We went there 3 times in the week we were there. 3 times. That's how much we loved it. In fact, when we go back to London in July, we are going there. We're taking the whole family, and we'll probably go there at least twice. It's called 1947. It's on Charlotte Street, I believe, off the top of my head, in Fitzrovia. Highly, 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 highly recommend it. Best Indian food I've ever had in my entire life. They do a coconut shrimp where they cook the shrimp in the coconut. They take off the top of the coconut, they put the shrimp inside the coconut, put it back together, and then heat it up inside the coconut juices. Can you imagine how good that tastes? Eric's like, oh, it's so good. I mean, 1947. In Fitzrovia, I believe it's on Charlotte Street, Indian restaurant, best Indian food I've ever had. Go check it out, Hugh. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, all right. I love the mix, Kyle. I think bring the shaker down, give me a bit more body on the kick, make the snare just a little bit more modern, a little less kind of the room, so it's just a little drier, a bit more kind of pleasing and warmer sounding. Get stuck in with a little bit of the automation, but in general, a wonderful mix, and Soothe too on the vocals if you have it, just because it gets a little bit out of control. All right, next up is Kyle Lindberg, who is here. Hi, Kyle. You're up next. Kyle and Kyle. All right. And Kyle says, almost forgot about me starting this one. Last edit before lunch break 2022. How ought it be finished? It came from with a feeble mono acoustic guitar and a vocal track and a CL time quantized version. I'm not sure which song it is, but in order to get the guitar going, I had to surgically find and attenuate all frets. Still came out loud after compression and all, but the way more in line with how the track would have been sounding without. Hot tip is to remove fret moves from 20 dB and great. All right, let's check it out. No one got in there to help. All right, it is Katie Ferrara, This City. Here we go.
Looking out by
Marvellous. I like the addition of this. So basically, just to answer some questions, Katie and I wrote this song like a year ago, and then we went into Sunset Sound and recorded it and filmed it. Did this come out as a course? I don't even remember. Has not yet come out as a course. Well, it will come out as a course. And we filmed the whole thing. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Produced the whole track. Yeah, that should be one we need to get on sooner rather than later. So a really, really great recording. And then I don't remember, what was this a demo for? Anybody remember? We can find the original multi-tracks for people that are non-Academy members. Oh, I do love Beans, Pierre. And then we did a demo with just an acoustic guitar and vocal. May have been live. I can't remember. And anyway, so, and then what Carl has done is added production stuff to it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, holy compression. It's, and there's many people saying you can hear like the compression pumping and stuff like that. I think in general, for that sort of 70s incredibly over compressed, maybe like LA 3A kind of thing, which I do love. You know, it's Rihanna. You know. Rhiannon, sorry, you know, I would probably use that as a reference fab, just how much you can get away with on the compression. I think just splitting the difference and backing it off a little bit will really help. You know, there's times it sort of envelopes and pumps around the vocal, so the guitar comes in louder and then disappears. I think there's a balance there that could be struck to get it to be just right. And then for the drums, they're really cool. Obviously, sometimes they're lost and the bass gets super loud. I think it's a case of rebalancing the bass, reducing the compression on the guitars just a bit so it sounds a little bit more natural, not quite so pumped, and then just watching automation on the drums. I think a couple people mentioned about automation.
I am alive and breathing. I open my eyes and see. Knowing I've always been complete. My thoughts won't take a hold of me. I am free.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to do it with piano now you're saying that, because you're doing the Vanessa Carlton thing. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, maybe we could do it as a piano production. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Katie. Wonderful singer. Again, yes, automation is your friend. Great work, Kyle. And please make those overdubs you did available to other Academy members. I'd really appreciate it. Wonderful work. All right, next up is Lucas. Oh, and while we're doing this, you what is my favorite vegetable? This is for, you have to guess what you think my favorite vegetable is. I'm going to whisper it to Eric afterwards. He probably knows. Do you know, Eric?
I think I have an idea.
You have an idea? Okay. So what is my favorite vegetables? And then Eric's going to pick at random. So you've got to get it right. And then pick up random and and then we're going to give away 1 year Academy membership if you're already a member, you get an additional year. If you're a lifetime member, you get any Pro Mix Academy course. All right. Next up is Lucas. So what's my favorite vegetable? Hey everyone, here's my mix of Same Next Thing. I'll submit it for Feedback Friday with all feedback is welcome. No samples used, very little edits, updated second version with more air, and a different EQ on the acoustic guitars and intro. So you can give out these multi-tracks, obviously, Eric, because this is a non-Academy multi-tracks. And just a reminder of where you can download them if you're not already an Academy member. If you want to join the Academy, it's $99 for today and today only. Special deal. Please join us. This is what we do every week. We listen to stuff like this. And we also listen to your productions as well. Warren's favorite vegetable is tea or French fries. Baked beans. That would be my favorite tinned or canned ones. My favorite vegetable. Yeah. I'm going to whisper it now to Eric while pressing play. He knew. He asked me what it was, and I went, yes. So I must be pretty obvious. So those that know anything about me will know what it is. All right, here we go. One more time.
Nothing you say can weigh me down. even if I've heard it 1,000 times. Maybe it's not that many, but I've seen enough to know that if your soul ain't ready, then I should let you go. 'Cause I know we ain't working out. I wanted you to be the one for me, and if you know that we ain't working out, what makes you think that we could ever be? I wanna love that'll last forever. It's a reality, 'cause I know we ain't working out. Guess I'll find another next same thing. Don't know what I want, but I know I want you. Let's put this record on and listen through. Thought I could be patient, check by check. Not if what I want doesn't hold me back. 'Cause I know we ain't working out. I wanted you to be the one for me, and if you know that we ain't working out, what makes you think that we could ever be? I wanna love that'll last forever. It's a reality, 'cause I know we ain't working out. Guess I'll find another next same thing. Yeah, I want you to be, I want you to be my fantasy. Yeah, maybe it's me, looking for the next same thing. Yeah, I want you to be, want you to be her fantasy. Yeah, maybe it's me, looking for the next same thing. 'Cause I know we ain't working out. I wanted you to be the one for me, and if you know that we ain't working out, what makes you think that we could ever be? I wanna love that'll last forever. It's a reality. I know we ain't working out. Guess I'll find another next same thing. Yeah, I want you to be my fantasy. Yeah, well, maybe it's me, looking for the next same thing. Oh, the next same thing. Oh, the next same thing.
It's interesting. So this is the. By the way, you haven't chosen yet, yeah?
No, but the ones who have gotten it right, I'm putting them in a randomizer.
Okay, so what he's doing, just keep going a little bit longer. So what he's doing is he's I see what he's doing. He's selecting everybody that's got it right, and then he's putting it into a randomizer. So whether you said it right at the beginning or right at the end or right in the middle, it doesn't matter. Everybody that got it right, he's putting into a randomizer. So let's keep going for just a few more minutes. What is my favorite vegetable? Of all the things that we've done ever, we've never actually done something as silly as that, but it was a good idea. There's some good ones. And the funny thing is I do actually love vegetables, like love vegetables. How many people have got it right?
3.
Only 3?
So far, yeah.
No, I keep looking, make sure. All right. I'm not going to give you any clues. Not going to give you any clues. Okay. I think there's more than 3. Scroll through, make sure you get more. I see others coming up. We won't without any hints. All right. I love this mix. This is one of my favorite songs I've recorded with Mikhail. She had it put out as a single, and it was really nice. They did the person who produced it did a really good job. It just didn't have quite the organic nature of her, because if you listen to Mikhail's voice, she's not a like overly produced auto-tune girl. I've never auto-tuned her in my life. You don't need to auto-tune Mikhail. Her slightly flat or slightly sharp is really tasteful. She's got one of the best voices I've ever recorded. And what is the sad thing is just in this market where we're at the moment, she's not going to be successful in the way that she could have been in the mid-90s. If she was 10, well, probably 15 years older, she could be a household name because she has such a wonderful, wonderful voice. That, you know, she's probably late 20s. So, yeah, another 15 years, she could have been, 30 years ago. 30 years ago, she could have been a teenager in the mid-90s, early 90s, and her voice is fan-bleeding-tastic. So what we did when we did this is another version of one of her pre-existing songs, is we did obviously record this using the Evo 16 and the SP8, didn't we? So it's done really inexpensively within the live room. So we're in the room recording it. Wonderful, wonderful voice, incredible singer. And I just feel like when you've got somebody as talented as this, just let the song speak. So we worked the band to just work on the pre-production, you know, quite a lot, and rehearsals. And like a lot of the great folk songs, like the James Taylor stuff, Carole King and Joni Mitchell of that period of like the very late 60s through to the early mid 70s, they were thinking like Motown. Even though it's folk, they were thinking like, you listen to like Leland Sklar play, that guy plays Motown. He plays like, he's got a groove player, and he played a lot of those records. So I had somebody say to me, how dare you mention Motown while talking about folk? And it was just like, you know, all of those great records that you grew up on, sir, all thought that way. They wanted to bring in some of those groove and that feel. And I think that's what's wonderful. You've got a singer like Mikhail. So, and she can do that. So with Lucas's mix, he's brought in a lot of that. It's very band orientated. And honestly, the only thing I feel that is missing is the verb on the vocals. I agree. Lots of people with you are making comments about different ways to compress or EQ or things they would do in the instruments. I don't disagree with that. But the drums are quite often side stick or just the sound of a brush hitting the snare. It's not rock, you know, and part of it is just this, the way the instruments are relating to each other, the way they fit together doesn't have to be like super compressed, super EQ'd. It's like, I mean, there's a part of me that's going to sacrilege what I'm about to do. I'm picking up the Echo Plate, which is a plugin we haven't talked about recently, but it is absolutely superb. He says, hoping that it does actually open up and doesn't crash my computer. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Why did I... We don't even have an active version of it. That's pretty hilarious. All right, we're not opening up Echo Plate. That's so funny. We did a review on it and they didn't give it to us forever. Oh, well, we won't be talking about Echo Plate. I love that that one. So I'm now going to go to an Arvo, which is pretty basic. I'm going to make the room a bit smaller, and I'm going to just do it on the whole mix. I know I'm crazy, but this is what I'm going to do. Go wipe off some of the low end.
Maybe it's not that many, but I've seen enough to know that if your soul ain't ready, then I should let you go. 'Cause I know we ain't working out. I wanted you to be the one for me, and if you know that we ain't working out, what makes you think
As the rocker said, my God, what a voice. We're actually building a website for Mikhail at the moment, and we will do a lot, as much as we can. We're also trying to get Jack Douglas to sign her to his new label. Anyway, Lucas, I really love it. I just would want a little bit more ambience on the track. I think you could get in there with some automation and just push up some of the lines a bit. The snare could come up a little bit in general, but I like the approach, the sort of less is more, less compression, less EQ. It feels more authentic. This is supposed to feel like it's played by a band from that kind of classic 1971 period when you had Blue, you had Sweet Baby James, you had all these, Tapestry. That's the period it's supposed to be, and I think he did an amazing job. Absolutely amazing. All right, Mark is up next. And did we choose somebody?
I'm ready to click it.
He's hitting the randomizer. Oh, wow, he's got spinning around. This is awesome.
And
The winner is...
Karen Bassett.
Karen won. Karen Bassett won. Congratulations, Karen. Wow. He's got this thing of wheels spinning around with all the names, and it randomizes, and you did it. So the randomizer, Karen Bassett won with dun, 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 Brussels sprouts. Come on, I'm English. I think I've talked about it on before, about how when I first came to America, I would go to a restaurant and I'd say, do you have any Brussels sprouts? And they'd be like, they would mock me. People would mock me in Los Angeles and go, oh, they taste like a foot. I used to get here a foot. Now, every single restaurant in LA, it's comedy. It's like they're a delicacy now, and they're like 5 times more expensive than they really are. Yeah. Apparently, I need to be mocked for liking Brussels sprouts. Yeah, roasted Brussels sprouts are delicious. See, people don't like them. Horrible tasting things. Thank you, Ken, for loving them. Yeah, I'm not a hipster. I'm just an older English guy that's been eating Brussels sprouts my whole life. Sprouts from Brussels. Roasted with maple syrup. Oh, yeah, I love them any way you can get them. I love Brussels sprouts. Congratulations, Karen. That's hilarious that you won. Love them. All right. Next up is Mark Leyland. Really enjoyed mixing this one on my SSL UC1 and UFA. I feel like we need to do another giveaway. Eric, what's your favourite vegetable? Don't tell us. Okay. Okay. What's Eric's favourite vegetable? We're going to do one more giveaway because I just feel bad. We need to do one more before the end. What is Eric's favourite vegetable? All right, Mark says, really enjoyed mixing this one on my new SSL UC1 and UF8. So most plugins we used were the SSL 4KB and the SSL 2 channel strip, along with some antelope compressors and the usual suspects for reverb. Using the UC1 really got me using my ears a lot. But proof is in the pudding. Let me know what you think. All honest opinions, welcome. Mick answered and got in there and helped out. Thank you very much. So what is Eric's favourite vegetable? You get a 1-year membership to the Academy. He will put any correct answers into the randomizer, and then whoever gets it right from the randomizer will win. So what is Eric's favourite vegetable? And you get a 1-year membership to the Academy, you get an extension on your membership, or you get a free course, any free course you like from pizza, says Sheila. You know what? That's probably the correct answer, but we are actually going to stick to vegetables. But yes, I don't know if I think he's thinking because he so rarely eats vegetables. It's like pizza, wings. He's Googling, what are vegetables? All right, let's check out Mark's mix of good loving.
She kissed and she hugged me. I've got me a woman who treats me right, gives me all of her loving both daily and night. I've got me a bunny, she's sweeter than honey. She don't want no silver, she don't take my money. She don't take my money. She don't take my money.
Guys, this is a fantastic mix. This is one of my favorite songs that we tracked with the band because we really got to go and do like a 60s meets early 70s. It was sort of somewhere between, Karen hit it, like Zombies meets Sabbath, sort of like West Coast America and also British rock, and it's got a really great late 60s, early 70s feel. This is one of my favorite mixes of it. This song was always a real pain to mix because the drummer, lovely guy, just couldn't play the snare to save his life. It like really soft hit it, you know, just like biff, biff. Cameron's here and laughing. But yeah, you know, he just couldn't get the snare to be like aggressive. And I really love what you did, Mark, with the snare. Hi, Marshall. How are you? Are we we're giving you the copy of the book? Is that you, the blind engineer? This is pretty faultless, this mix. Where's Chris when I need him? Chris, are you still here? Yeah. A little bit of de-essing, just a little bit of de-essing. Might be a little bit happy on the high end and the overheads. Maybe bring them down like a dB on the boost on the high end. It's a really fantastic mix. I just think it's the right kind of balance and not being too modern and just being retro enough to make sense. All right, I love it, Mark. Really good. Yeah, just control that high end on that. I don't want it to be more modern than that. I think you've done the right balance. Really, really good. And that's one of the things. It can't always be like a super modern mix. So, Eric, who won?
So,
Gonna hit the randomizer?
hit the randomizer. Only 3 people got it right, and one of them had won the first prize we gave away. So I'm just gonna have 2 people in there. Between,
Okay.
But here we go. It's 50-50.
Who won?
Sebastian Guerrero.
Sebastian won. And what was the right question?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. Broccoli's your favorite vegetable. Nobody would have guessed that. Broccoli?
Yep.
I never would have guessed broccoli. Karen would have gone, she'd go corn. That would have made sense. Really? Broccoli?
It's true.
No! Sebastian won.
Version of broccoli.
Eric, please. People are amazed. Tom gave his broccoli sign. Mine was Brussels sprouts, which, you know, if you're British, you understand that. We all love our Brussels sprouts. But Eric, broccoli? Nobody, that's not fair. That really? Broccoli?
There are a lot of beers answers, and I was going to go for those, but
There's no broccoli in beer. Beer was probably the right answer. It is a superfood. I do like broccoli, but Eric liking broccoli? All right, Dave Crew, last but no means least. Dizzy Lewin offered to add some drums on this wonderful track. Looks like beat it to her. Mixing my own drums is more difficult than mixing the real instruments. And took a few takes. So there is... Okay, so Lindsay did the drums, and I don't know what the track is yet, but we're going to go and listen to it. And it's Dave Crew. Rotund got in and helped. David Bauer got in and helped. Hervig got in and helped. Absolutely wonderful. And that's just amazing because Dave is one of those people that helps everybody out. So last but no means least, the last song of the day. Dave Crew with It's Too Late. Oh, you did the drums. Sorry. Dave did the drums.
Just to pass the time. There's something wrong here, there can be no denying. One of us is changing, or maybe we just stop trying. But it's too late, baby, now it's too late. That we really did try to make it. Something inside just can't fake it. Oh no. Used to be so easy living here with you. You were light and breezy and I knew just what to do. But now you're so unhappy and I feel like a fool. But it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it. Something inside has died and I can't hide it, I just can't fake it. Oh times again for me and you, but we just can't stay together, don't you feel it too? See, I'm glad for what we had and how I once loved you. But it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it. Something inside has died and I can't hide it, I just can't fake it. No, it's too late, baby, now it's too
Absolutely fantastic. Dave, thanks ever so much for doing it. What a nice high to go out on, because what we have is we have one of the most wonderful guitar players in Michael Humphreys. Like, amazing job. Super impressed with his stuff. I got to play guitar on it as well. It's a lot of fun to play on this song. Plus, it's, one of Carol Gofflin King's greatest songs. Oh, absolutely superb. I loved what you did here. Absolutely love it. So, criticisms are pretty minor. I think the vocal sound is superb. I didn't read anybody's notes on vocals, so I don't know what people are saying, but I love the vocals.
One of us is changing, or maybe we just stop trying. But it's too late, baby, now it's...
I think automation, just like, it's a tough one. I think it needs a little bit more automation.
Maybe we just stop trying. But it's too late, baby, now it's too late. That we really did try to make it.
Like, that left-hand guitar needs to come up in those choruses just to make it a little bit more interesting, The piano's there, but I forget it's there, so maybe bring up the piano in those sections. Just automate it just a little bit. At the moment, it feels like the bass is probably a dB too loud, but I think that's probably because the other instruments need to come up slightly. I do love everything about it. It's superb.
But it's too late, baby, now it's too late. That we really did try to make it something.
It feels like the right hand of the piano could be panned to the left, because, yeah. Really wonderful mix. Automation. I think will really make this. Love the vocal sound. I've said that enough. It's really superb. I'm going to go to the end.
Can't hide it. I just can't fake it. Oh no.
Drums are great, Dave. You should do some more drums for us. Let's have Dave do drums, everybody.
Something inside is dying and I can't hide.
Yeah, exactly. The guitar on the left is a little buried. I think I could definitely come up. Wonderful work.
Something inside is dying.
What a high to go out on. Did you put up the multi-tracks for this?
I did. No,
You did.
I'm gonna do one.
And everybody... Hey, Cameron, what's your favourite vegetable?
Vegetable?
Yeah, he's like, vegetable.
Hold on. I don't know, it's too hard.
That's too hard. It was easy for me, very hard for... He said broccoli, which I don't believe.
No, it's not a favorite. That's fucking boring.
When you steam it and put a lot of butter on it and garlic.
Kale. I'm gonna say kale.
Kale. There's no way kale is your favourite vegetable. No
Put a
way.
bunch of salt on it, put it in the oven. It's great.
Kale?
Get rid of the original flavor as much as you can.
We're all so boring. Brussels sprouts.
Oh.
I love Brussels sprouts. Love Brussels sprouts. Broccoli and kale.
You probably
I don't think anybody
salt and
believes it.
vinegar chips too, right?
Oh, yeah.
I love salt and vinegar chips. I love salt and vinegar chips. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. See you next week. If you're not already a member of the Academy, please join us. Oh, hit the like button on the way out. Please hit that like. Thank you, everybody that came in. Hit that like button. Yeah, I love my salt and vinegar chips. Thanks, everyone. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. Adios. Goodbye. Hit the like button. Goodbye.